quick tour of the garden, see what's growing on. It's dry, everything's dry. We haven't had rain for weeks now. In actual fact, months, I don't think. Nothing worth having anyway. Things are struggling. Beetroot, 4 different sorts in there. Parsnips, all struggling. There's some turnips in there as well. They're struggling, even though I do give them some water now and again. I think it's just too bloody dry. Then you come the other side, and the cabbages are doing quite well. I think, if I remember rightly, there's this broccoli in here, and some giant red drumheads, and loads and loads of tomato plants. If you want tomato plants, I've got loads. Kale, patchy, some's alright, some's not. It's doing what it does. We'll have a feed off of it, if nothing else. Broad beans. These are Bunyard's Exhibition. I do like Bunyard's. They do produce well. We've had 2 really good meals off of them already. I've put about 2 kilos in the freezer, so there's plenty there. More greens, different sorts, and some Nicandra growing in amongst them. There's a nice one there, you can see better actually. The old gardeners used to put them in between their plants because they reckon it kept the flies away. So we'll see. They called it shoe fly, so we'll have a go. Peas, alderman. 2 massive great meals off of these so far, and it only takes up a 4 foot by 1 foot space, and there's loads here yet to come. I'm going to pick some in a minute, take them in, process them, put them in the freezer. Turnips and red hispy type cabbage, and some little Japanese broccoli in this one. They're not doing too bad actually, they went in quite early. The onions at the top, Caravel, Rose de Roscoff, the genuine ones, they're doing very well from seed. And then next to those is Bedfordshire Champion, again from seed, doing well. The shallots from seed are doing really well, can't remember the name of it. And the ones that I put in from sets have all tried to go to seed. So I've had loads and loads of fun taking the tops out. Oh, and look, there's a sunflower. Aren't they lovely? And then we go to sweet corn. I think the fence is sort of not doing a lot now, but it makes me feel happier. Try and keep the deer out. I know that if they want it, they'll have it, but every little thing we can do to try and keep them away, the better. The artichoke, cardoon, whatever, not so well this year. There's a lot more heads, but they're a lot smaller. By this time they're normally 3-4 times that size. Again, I think it's down to moisture. 8x4 bed of leeks, Musselburgh, doing really well. They only went in last week into 6-inch deep holes. A nice bed over there, 8x4. That is all carrots, different sorts of carrots. The experimentation really more than anything. See how they do, and looking at how they're growing, they should be all right. This is just a total mess, this end. We got potatoes, we got turnips, we got kohlrabi. Got a kohlrabi out this morning, clean, 1.5 kilos he was. There's some others coming in underneath there now, they're starting to come. Don't know if you can see them through the net. Camera's focusing on the net, I think. And there's some different kohlrabi up this end. Beetroot, golden boldor. Spring onions, gone a bit too far from spring. The main potato bed, they're doing alright. They could do with more water, so could everything. And this is only a quick flick round the garden anyway. Oh, hang on, we did actually pull this out last week as well, or maybe a week before. Just some bit of ground that I've reclaimed from where the compost bins used to be. Things are growing well. Proper row of peas up through there, nice and dense. I shall wait until they're about a foot high and I'll start stringing them in and get them to go back in towards the netting, and they'll get over to that and go on up. I don't know how tall they will go. I can't remember what sort it was either. be honest. There we go. More Nicandra. Shoe fly. There you go, you can see better what it is now, look. That lovely little flower. Sunflowers, lots of them. Squashes, mental, absolutely bonkers. They haven't been in there very long, and they're producing courgettes like they're going out of fashion. And I can't remember what it was said about the mashed potato squash. Well, see if I can get this leaf out of the way. And there they are. There. They're like a very pale yellow, creamy sort of colour, really. We'll see what they be like. Little experimental carrot bed. 2 different sorts of show carrot in there. And where they've missed, I've bunged in some extra cabbage plants just to get them out of the way. Celery, struggling, likes water. It's getting water twice a day. See what happens. I'm not holding my breath on it. And a quick pop into the greenhouses where the disaster of the day is. So these in this greenhouse are all beefsteak type tomatoes. They're massive. But they're not a patch on last year. I had a real bad start to the season this year. But they're coming on, they're starting to produce fruit now. Peppers in pots this year. Instead of putting them in the borders, they tended to have a bit of a struggle last year, I think, in the borders, trying to fight their way through the tomatoes. But they're starting to produce, albeit slowly. I can't remember what that is. Anyway, they'll come on. We'll come back to those, do a separate video. And then into the high top greenhouse. So we have got 2 cucumbers, 1 gherkin, 1 massive tomato plant, Solano there. That is some melons that have just hit the roof now, so now they're going to have to go into the centre of the roof. I forgot to prune them out actually, so they'll just have to take their chances. And this is where the problem was the other day. The Cobra French beans that I put in came up with really strange warty leaves, and the beans it was producing was bloody awful, hard as anything. More tomatoes back in there. Another failed experiment. Ginger, don't like it. Started to grow away alright. As soon as I put it out here, didn't like it. More tomatoes. More tomatoes. Because you can't have enough tomatoes. Because I do like tomatoes, and so does the wife. And so do all my neighbours. And my mate down the road. So, if I can get back here without falling over. There we go. And I said it'd be a very quick update. And there it is, less than 10 minutes. Anyway, keep on gardening. If you do like my little videos, please consider subscribing, sharing, liking, whatever. Give me a boost. See you later.